Jake here from SHW Offroad, and today I'm going to show you just how easy it is to assemble a Jeep Wrangler JLU tall seat delete. Let's get started. I like to start off with assembling the drawers. First, let's lay out all the pieces. You should have in your kit a drawer back, a drawer front, a drawer side, as well as a drawer bottom, and a second drawer side. There are two drawers in the JLU Tall Seat Delete. Make sure you're working with the appropriate pieces when you're assembling your drawers. The first thing we need to do is load all of our keyholes with our cross dowels. When you install the dowels into the keyholes, you can use a flathead screwdriver to line them up appropriately. Now that you have all the keyholes loaded with your cross dowels, find the hardware bag containing all of the black 1/4-20 machine screws. These will be used to hold all of the pieces together. Now let's start with the drawer bottom. Place it on your work surface. Grab one of the drawer sides, line it up correctly, and start threading in your machine screws. It's really important to note at this step of the process not to over torque your cross dowels. I'll show you later a little tip on how to know when to stop. As you're torquing down your 1/4-20 machine screws, once you feel it start to tension, and sometimes you'll hear a slight cracking or rubbing sound, that's when you should stop. Keep an eye on your cross dowels. If you see them start to pull out of the keyholes, you're going too tight, and make sure you stop there. As I work my way around, I'm making sure all of my joints are flush and nice and square. Now that I have my sides on, I'm ready to install the back. In order to determine the correct location for your drawer back, you'll want to make sure the back goes on the side with the bigger gap between your drawer slide hole and the back of the drawer. Notice one side is a little bit closer to the end than the other. This is the one we want to use for our drawer back. Tip it up on its side. Line up your holes. When installing the drawer front, or the drawer back rather, start on the top side and line up the corner to get a nice square joint. And then pull the drawer into square by lining up the bottom two screws and making sure again that your corners are nice and flush. Finish off the rest of the screws and the back's ready to go. Once you're there, go ahead and flip the drawer over and let's install your drawer front. Once you have your first drawer put together, move on to the second, repeating with the same steps. We now have both of our drawers assembled. Let's set them aside and get to the base of the seat delete. Just like with the drawers of the seat delete, we're going to find all of our parts and lay them out appropriately. Once you've found all of your pieces, lay them out. You should have a tall front, a passenger side panel, a center panel, an upper divider and a lower divider, These may also be called your upper drawer support and your lower drawer support. Let's go ahead and set our drawer supports or our dividers aside. And let's start with the center and the front. Just like with the drawers, we're going to start off by loading all of our keyholes with cross dowels. As you go along, make sure all of your cross dowels are lined up so that your screws will thread in smoothly in the next step. All right, our cross dowels are loaded. Let's line up our pieces. The front panel goes towards the front of the vehicle. The center panel points back towards the rear of the vehicle. And we're going to install some machine screws along these front holes. We're going to go ahead and start all our bolts, but we're not going to torque anything down yet. The center panel and the front are attached. Let's go ahead and attach our passenger side panel. Again, we're going to line it up, grab some machine screws, and get them started. I'm going to go ahead and keep them loose for now, just get everything lined up. We'll come back and tighten them at a later step. All right, we've got our center, our passenger side, and our front attached. Let's go ahead and get the drawer supports or the center dividers in. I like to start with the lower divider. The lower divider will go in the lower holes of the seat delete. Since we didn't torque down our machine screws on these other pieces, the pieces might have a tendency to want to fall off as the cross dowels leave the keyholes. If that happens to you, just reseat the keyholes and start again. You may have noticed that the drawer slides are already attached to the lower divider, the upper divider, and the front center panel or the front panel. If yours aren't already attached, grab the included Phillips head 832 screws and attach your drawer slides to the appropriate pieces. The holes will only line up one way, so you shouldn't be able to do it wrong. One quick tip, make sure you line up the front of the drawer slide along the front edge of the panel that you're attaching it to. We're ready to go ahead and install the lower divider into the seat delete. Now that we have our cross dowels. All right, so as you can see, our base has taken shape. We have our supports for our drawers that'll open out the side here. So now what I'm going to do is line up all the base pieces, make sure everything's nice and flush, and start torquing some of the bolts down. Now that we've got the base together, it's snug down, we're ready to install the top of the seat delete. The contour of the top goes towards the passenger door and the outside of the vehicle. Now we're ready to start going around, start our machine screws through the top. Don't torque them down yet, let's just get them started, then we'll go back and screw them down tight. All right, we've got all of the top deck screws started. We can go ahead and start lining the top of the deck with the base of the seat delete. I like to use the center panel as my reference point. Let's start in this corner. All right, the top's attached to the deck. We're ready to place the drawers inside the drawer system. When installing the drawers, you have a couple different options to attach the drawer slides to the drawers. My preferred method to install a drawer slide to the drawer is to bring the drawer slide to the drawer and attach it to the side of it. To do that, separate the drawer slide and attach it to the appropriate slide on the drawer. It's important to only separate one slide at a time so you can keep them matched to the appropriate pair. Let's line up our holes. Grab your screwdriver and thread them in lightly. Now that we have the slides attached to the drawer, we can now slide the drawer slides back together. It is very important to guide the rail into its pair and to make sure that the drawer slide engages with the bearing pack. If you feel binding, make sure you stop. You may feel a little bit of resistance, but you can push lightly through it to seat all the bearings. The drawer should operate smoothly now. One thing to watch out for is to make sure the drawer front face ends up as close to flush with the seat delete side as possible. You can adjust the slides position on the side of the drawer to get it flush. The top drawer's in. Do the same for the bottom. And the last step is to install your latches. Once you have the base together, the top on, the drawers in, and the latches installed, you're ready to place the seat delete in the vehicle. Refer to your manual on your install instructions inside the vehicle. One thing to note though, you might find it a lot easier to remove the drawers from the seat delete. It makes the unit a lot lighter and easier to navigate and manage inside the vehicle.